Stigma is very real in the workplace.
We all have to deal with money issues.
We need a healthcare system that responds to the whole person.
And you don't know really where to turn.
You really helped me. Thank you.
We have a resource specifically for you.
I'm Cindy Hsu, and today we are breaking the stigma managing workplace and financial stress. We are in the heart of Midtown Manhattan, where more than 3 million people come to work. A place diverse in jobs, ages, ethnicities, and financial means. And this is also no doubt a place where stress lives. In some cases, experts say it can help keep you sharp and motivated. But over an extended period of time, it may affect your health, your job performance, and even your ability to manage your finances. Last year, 77% of workers reported experiencing work-related stress in a 1-month period. 72% of Americans said they felt stressed about money. Over this next half hour, we're going to hear from experts who will explain some of the issues around workplace and financial stress, meet people who've experienced them, and we'll tell you about solutions that anyone can access. Let's talk about, workplace stress and anxiety. What would you want people to know?
So the workplace is just an important part of people's lives. They spend a good part of the day, or sometimes most of their day, at work. And so what happens there really matters for the rest of their lives.
When people are stressed at home and they're stressed with their kids, then it creates more stress on them at the workplace. They're reactive, they're irritable, they're not performing as well. It's just this vicious cycle.
We all have a role in changing the narrative of stigma. And so part of that is dispelling a lot of common myths around people living with mental illness.
We were able to have our mental health as a priority in the space. We're able to talk clearly with our managers, and they understand the benefits of having us in our best form.
I think having access to windows is very important to me.
Everyone has the ability to customize their workstation and raise, lower, to be healthy.
What is a well building?
It's a space that has thought about all of the different ways in which physical environments like design, operations, and maintenance, and social environments can improve the health and well-being of the people inside.
But what are some of the things going on behind the scenes that we can't physically see?
A well-certified space is going to have excellent ventilation and filtration to make sure that the air is pristine, and air quality has an amazing amount of impacts on our physical health and even our mental health and acuity. Another thing is a lot of plant life or views to the outside, like this office that has the central staircase. You're incentivized to stay moving throughout the day. Healthy snacks and access to water stations. These things can have immense impacts on our productivity.
So let's talk about your building becoming a well building.
Well, for us, we really valued the experience for our most important asset, our employees. Being able to have light and air quality, promoting culture, having open spaces for collaboration, having walking paths, so circulation through the office.
I noticed this box over here, bottomless closet, things like that, and why that's important.
The community. We are an active company in so many different charitable organizations, and again, that speaks to our culture.
So this is called our Wellness Cafe. Oh. This lowered ceiling element, this idea that you feel much safer in small spaces, but at the same time, there's lots of daylight being brought in.
Tell me about the bees.
The bees are really great for employee engagement. The studies have shown that just having this access to nature really can help a person decompress and lower their stress during the day.
Well-certified office spaces generally report improvements in employee well-being by more than 25%, and increases in self-reported mental health by as much as 10%. And the sum total of all of these impacts have a significant impact on the business's bottom line.
The bottom line is something that also impacts just about all of us, money, no matter how much or little we have. Financial stress is real and can lead to significant impacts on our physical and mental health. It can affect work performance and personal relationships. Coming up.
I found myself back at home at 31.
There'd be days I didn't get out of bed.
We need to do a hard look at what do I have control over? What can I change?
Money doesn't really care who you are. It doesn't care what the color of your skin is or how much money you make or how little money you make, where you come from. We all have to deal with money issues. It does not matter.
That's Asia Evans, a financial therapist, and yes, there is such a thing. She counsels clients on issues regarding financial wellness and education and their relationships with money. Experts agree financial stress can have a direct impact on mental and physical health, saying it can lead to abuse of drugs or alcohol, poor sleep, and increase the risk of depression and anxiety.
One of the things that I see a lot with my clients or when I have these conversations with people is shame. People feel so shameful about what they have done with their money, what they didn't do with their money, why didn't I know? And they isolate and they decide, I don't want anybody to know this about me, so I'm not going to open my mail, I'm not going to have these conversations.
Is there a way to live here differently? Do I need to move into a smaller apartment? Do I need to move somewhere else where I can actually afford my lifestyle? I hate to say that, but those are hard choices we all have to make.
A lot of times we assume that all of the money troubles are coming from people who do not have money, where there's a ton of wealthy people just working too much, or if that is that they never feel like they're good enough. For some people it might be champagne problems, but for other people, yes, it may be we don't have enough to live, but I mostly see it's across the board.
We need to do a hard look at what do I have control over, what can I change, and what truly is out of my control.
When it comes to mental health, there's a stigma and people don't want to have some of those conversations to say, hey, I really need help, I'm really struggling with this, this is really starting to interrupt my life.
After I lost my job, that routine is broken. Your day becomes extremely different. There'd be days I didn't get out of bed, and things started snowballing to the sense where my car got repossessed. It was multiple things that somebody in any given sense would have a hard time with. And then when you struggle with mental health, it's like a whole different ballgame.
31-year-old Patrick O'Brien reached out to family for support and made sure he had a solid mental health team and plan for guidance. He also found work as a freelance photographer that helped both financially, gave him an important creative outlet, and also bolstered his confidence. And we're happy to report O'Brien also recently started a new job.
Be open to a lot of things and know that it's okay to not be okay. And that uncomfortable feeling of going throughout your day, it'll start to dissipate when you take action.
I found myself back at home at 31. I was struggling health-wise. I had lost a lot of weight. I was having headaches. Just thinking about how I'm going to pay my next bill. Financial stress is something that everybody experiences. It's just having resources to help you, and that's what Chase Bank provides, a resource for me.
That resource is their community branch in Harlem that helps customers and the community deal with financial issues and stress. It has a decidedly different look and feel than a traditional bank. There's a meeting room situated in a safe with safety deposit boxes as a featured wall. Wood from a local bowling alley was repurposed as a table. And this mantle that adorns a sitting area once belonged to legendary jazz singer and Harlem resident Billie Holiday. There's also a front-facing gathering space that welcomes neighbors and works as a hub to financially assist and educate the community.
We never want to feel that you're coming in and having a financial conversation. We know how stressful that is. We want you to come in and feel more at ease. That's why you see the bright colors from local artwork that you see. We want you to come in and feel invested and honored to be in Harlem. And we're, as a firm, honored to be in Harlem as well with our first ever community center here. I'm a recovering financial mess. So a lot of the best practices I'm sharing, those are things that I've done myself in the past, and also grateful that we have JP Morgan creating curriculum that we're able to present as well, and steps that we're able to present.
There are a lot of resources. It might mean you have to spend a little time digging for them, but talk to people about it and see, hey, have you listened to this podcast, or have you heard this other person talk about financial therapy?
Experts say talking to others is critical. It can lead to finding help, getting answers, and setting you on a better financial path. They say reach out to friends and family, and sometimes even workplaces offer loans or grants to employees in need. Coming up.
Being so open about my struggle with other people gives them an opportunity to open up as well.
I am someone who's in recovery from both addiction and mental illness. The two really go hand in hand.
Some stress is mandatory for your motivation to keep going. Otherwise, you will lose any interest, if there's no stress at all, then you will just chill all the time, What would motivate you to go ahead and do your stuff?
So often there's overlap in the stress we face every day. Workplace stress can spill over to home, impacting relationships and even how we live our everyday lives. Financial stress can affect critical decisions about having enough money for housing, utilities, and food, and leave us on edge about the affordability of everyday life. And all of this can also lead to more urgent issues surrounding mental health.
It's not just additive, stressor adding up to being, depressed. It can have a multiplicative effect.
Experts say additional stress can sometimes spiral into issues with depression, alcoholism, addiction, and even thoughts of suicide.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty well. I just moved into my own place for the first time. I'm doing well, all things considered.
Henry Platt is 25 years old and a member of a notable show business family. Most well known, his brother, Ben Platt, who starred in the title role of Dear Evan Hansen.
To a certain extent, I've learned to embrace my anxiety, and I've learned to embrace certain moments of depression.
While Platt was in college, he suffered from severe mental illness and depression. There were fears he was suicidal.
Being so open about my struggle with other people gives them an opportunity to open up as well. I'm your wish, your dream come true. I am your darkest nightmare too. Performing for me has always been a place for me to channel my emotions. It's not a distraction from them.
A number of high-profile stars and athletes have been forthcoming about their work anxiety and depression. Singer Adele admitted she has gotten physically sick before performances. Naomi Osaka, Simone Biles, and Michael Phelps, just to name a few, have gone public about their personal mental health journey.
The more that I can just be an open book about it, the more commonplace it becomes, hopefully. The less stigma there is around conversations that involve mental health or mental wellness.
In fact, Henry's story is featured in a new book about mental health struggles by Patrick Kennedy. Let's talk about the title of your new book, Profiles in Mental Health Courage, and kind of the connection of that title with your uncle's titled book, Profiles in Courage.
President Kennedy really valued political courage. He thought it was extraordinary. What I wrote about in Profiles in Mental Health Courage is the kind of courage that we need people to have in order to change this country's discussion of mental illness and addiction.
Now, you advocate for more attention to addiction. What about anxiety and other issues that may contribute to that?
Well, I am someone who's in recovery from both addiction and mental illness. The two really go hand in hand. That's part of our big problem in mental health and addiction today is we have different funding streams for different diagnoses when in most cases everything kind of overlaps to one extent or another. But clearly we need a healthcare system that responds to the whole person.
While serving in Congress, Kennedy had a very public car accident that he says was due to his addiction disorders. But that helped inspire him to champion the need for better mental health treatment as the chief author of the Mental Health Parity and Addiction Equity Act, which states that insurers must cover treatment for mental health and substance use disorders, as they would other illnesses.
I was really dedicated to my job, excited about my job, working a lot of hours and passionate. And over a few months, I was throwing up every morning, really nauseous, and having panic attacks eventually almost every day at work. But it was those real physical things that made me realize, wow, I need to pause and see what's happening. I decided, yeah, I'm gonna go on a medical leave for work. So many concerns were in my mind about promotions and what will people think, and I'm letting everyone down. But in that moment, I knew in my heart that's what you have to do.
What advice do you have for people who notice maybe a colleague is, looks like they're struggling?
The first thing to know is that it's okay to talk about mental health, to ask people if they're okay and navigate them towards those resources. I think that's really the role that we can all play in supporting our colleagues' mental health. We provide training and technical assistance for different companies to help them either educate their employees about what is mental health in the workplace, how do you get resources, how do managers talk to their employees about mental illness, and sort of guide them to the right places in a safe and supportive way.
NAMI NYC has so many free services. We have over 40 in-person and virtual support groups. They're non-clinical, they're all free, no registration required.
You can reach the NAMI helpline at 212-684-3264 or at helpline@naminyc.org. Coming up.
We do adhere to the mantra of it's okay to not be okay.
You have to keep everything inside until you get a chance. You might go outside, exhale.
It's very easy to get overwhelmed with busy schedules, but take a few minutes, whether it's a 2-minute meditation or it's just to take a look outside at nature, take a break, and then come back and focus on what we're working on here.
That's Lily Wittenbach, who's the global head of wellness for JP Chase. Workplace and financial stress can run high in an environment like this, but they offer a variety of programs promoting employee physical and mental health, and they are one of a growing number of businesses that do.
We are actually in one of our health and wellness centers in Midtown Manhattan, where we have over 20,000 employees. This is an opportunity for employees to come to seek urgent or episodic care if they're not feeling well.
I've had a number of different bouts of depression.
When we talk about mental health, we have a program called This Is Me, where we have hundreds of employees who've shared their journeys around mental health. They talk about not just their struggle and overcoming that struggle, but they talk about the success they've had in using the resources that the firm has provided.
My goal for you today is to tell you a little bit more about the services that we offer, what we mean when we talk about stress and resilience. Our center started in 2020, really at the height of the pandemic. There was a recognition that healthcare workers at Sinai were dealing with a tremendous life-threatening stressor.
How many employees, in a workplace would probably have gone through anxiety or depression or one of these things?
It's about 1 in 4 to 1 in 3 healthcare workers who, on questionnaires that they complete, have positive screenings for depression, anxiety, or other mental health conditions. These aren't formal clinician-made diagnoses, but it gives us a sense of the overall need.
We're all scared as well. We were like in the front where we have to confront the visitors. We have to tell the family members, hey, you cannot visit your loved one. At the same time, you have a person coming in, they want to see a doctor, they're coughing, sneezing. So as a person standing between, it was very, very stressful.
Wayne Powell is the security training manager. He's been through a lot in his 26 years at Mount Sinai.
You have to keep everything inside until you get a chance. You might go outside, exhale, get it out, come back. And that's where the training program comes in with this resilience program. You can talk about those experiences and you can look at it from a different angle.
Sometimes the stress becomes overwhelming and you don't know really where to turn. And I want you to know that we have a resource specifically for you.
Do you think every company, every business needs to have an element of helping people with mental health?
Yes, I would say so. And I would say that it has to be a multi-level plan because there are different things that people need. Some folks, including the armed forces, have peer support programs.
There's approximately 2,000 folks affiliated with this base. We may have to deploy to austere locations for an undetermined amount of time. So yes, that can cause an amount of stress. We do adhere to the mantra of it's okay to not be okay. I felt that there was a need for boots on the ground, if you will, in the realm of mental health intervention. We created the HOPE team. HOPE stands for Helping to Overcome Problems Everywhere. What I have my team do is every Friday I say go do a walk around and just ask your building, ask your respective unit how they're doing. How's everybody doing? Just to keep up that connectedness with your units. But we're also available essentially 24/7. The folks who have come to me and to my teammates have said to us, you really helped me. Thank you. I'm so glad that you were there for me. My wife, my husband, my daughter is so happy that you were there for me. And I just remind my team, this is why you do what you do.
What would you just say to somebody who might be watching right now and feel that they are having a crisis at work?
What I would say is to reach out for help. You're not alone. Help is available, and there's help that's confidential. There's help that can meet you where you're at. Our NAMI NYC helpline is a phenomenal first place to start. It is confidential. We have trained peers who answer and will just listen. Taking the first step is everything.
Change can be hard and scary, but as many of you who have shared in my mental health journey know, it is so worth it. But it has to start with you. Use workplace mental and physical health resources that are available. Reach out to the people who care about you. Speak to a manager honestly about your workload. Check online for free or low-cost therapy. But most important, take care of yourself. Find a minute or 2 or 10 to decompress and breathe. The same for finances. Make a budget and stick to it. Save $5 or whatever you can every week. If you can do even some of these things, you may be leaving some stress behind and putting yourself on a path to workplace and financial wellness. We have a list of resources on our website at cbsnewyork.com. And if you or anyone you know is in crisis, call or text 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, for free 24/7 for guidance and counseling. I'm Cindy Hsu. Thanks for watching Breaking the Stigma, Managing Workplace and Financial Stress.